Richard asked me to talk about whether effective buying can affect cash flow. In possibly what could be the shortest presentation ever, the answer is yes. That's it. I think what's more important is trying to understand why firms don't use purchasing as a tool to actually improve cash flow. Anyway, if you look at the makeup of any firm, it's the old 80-20 rule. 80% of the income, outgoings, is spent on the raw material, which is staff. That's rewarding staff for the work they do, and obviously recruiting and attracting new staff into the business. The better you do it, the stronger your firm. But it does leave another 20% of outgoing that a lot of firms just don't look at all. I've been doing this for 20 years, predominantly in the professional services sector, and there's two reasons for this. The first one, and the most obvious one, is that 20% is made up of an awful lot of bits. Most firms will deal in more than 50 supply sectors. Within each sector, you're dealing with numerous suppliers. So when you look at this cost, it's bitty. It's spread across the business. It's mostly deemed impossible to put together and to make any effective difference to it at all. But it can be done, and if you can do it, it can make have a dramatic effect on your bottom line. The other problem that I found is that if people do actually try and get stuck into doing some looking at the purchasing and seeing if they can improve it, there's a perception about the value of savings that are made. And a lot of the time people can turn around and say, well, it's just not worth the effort of doing it. I was recently working with a law firm where we were looking at a number of areas. One of them was their office supplies, a very sexy subject. And we could find them savings of £50,000, which we could put in place immediately. They declined to take this up because they felt it was not worthy of the time and effort from their side to put it in, even though we were going to do all the work to do that. I looked at it, and their gross profit was 20%. So effectively, to get £50,000 worth of profit, they would have to generate £250,000 worth of fees. And in fact, that's what they were doing every year. £250,000 worth of fees had to be generated to overpay for paper clips and pens. So I put it to them, and the question I put to them was, if I turned up at your door, excuse me, as a client, offering you work where you could bill me £250,000 a year, not just this year, but every year for the foreseeable future, would you be interested? And I think you can gather what the answer was to that one, and they changed their mind. So I think this is a key part to any business. I think to ignore that bottom level of spend is an opportunity missed, particularly in this sort of current climate, where any business is looking around for an opportunity or something to do something different that they've not done before, to try and generate something extra within the business. If you focus on purchasing, it's not an overnight job. It takes time. But the good thing is, at the end of it, once you've got everything in order, to keep it going and keep those savings coming through is remarkably easy to do. You just need that start point to get you going. But you can release hundreds of thousands of pounds back into your business, which can pay for upgrades to IT systems. It can pay for new telephone systems. It can pay to make your office COVID compliant. You know, there is a lot of a lot of opportunity out there for firms, and I think that realistically they should be trying harder to get stuck into that side of it. And I think in the end, whether they use a purchasing specialist to sit alongside them, or they find ways of training a staff member up to be a competent buyer, the effects, the improvement in profitability will be there to be seen very quickly and ongoing year on year. So that's it from me. Thank you for your time.